R. Kelly is in prison. A lot of us had foolishly assumed that his curse would be lifted from the world. But looks like this man still has some fight left in him. And now that he has lost everything, he's ready to bring down his enemies and former friends as well. The very top of his hit list is none other than Jay-Z. And you better believe Jay-Z is losing his sleep because of his past with Kelly. What happened between the two of them? And why is Jay-Z worried about it now? Let's find out. R. Kelly was once the king of the music industry. He completely redefined R&B and won Grammy after Grammy for his songs. He was a music giant, but his empire came crashing down as soon as the sexual abuse allegations started pouring in.
Minor One testifying that she had hundreds of sexual encounters, including threesomes, all at the behest of Kelly.
It wasn't just a single complaint or a one-off incident. Victim after victim began to speak up, and that's when the bombshell dropped. R. Kelly was a pedophile and a child molester, and the world had put this abuser on a pedestal. One of his victims spoke about the horrible time in her life. "You made me do things that broke my spirit. I literally wished I would die because of how low you made me feel. Do you remember that?" You can imagine the scale of Kelly's downfall after these revelations. His court trial was brutal and strict, and the people were all rightfully very angry. The prosecutor spoke about the singer and said, "He committed these crimes using his fame and stardom as both a shield, which prevented close scrutiny or condemnation of his actions, and a sword which gave him access to wealth and a network of enablers to facilitate his crimes, and an adoring fan base from which to cull his victims." After a lengthy court trial, Kelly got 30 years in prison, which honestly weren't nearly enough for all the pain he had caused. He preyed on young girls and destroyed the lives of so many innocent girls. But instead of repenting on the sins of the past and trying to make amends, Kelly has decided to pick a fight. Kelly has now filed an appeal against his 30-year prison sentence. The singer was sentenced on 9 federal court convictions, and we all assumed that would be the end of this nightmare. Kelly would be locked up in some dark prison away from all the little children, and the music industry would be a little safer for kids. But Kelly surprised everyone when he filed for a new trial. His attorney says he wasn't given a fair trial after all, and they should redo it all. His reasons? The attorney thinks there were too many technical errors in the judgment. Several technical factors, including that prosecutors did not prove that the alleged sex tape of Kelly abusing Jane at his home made it for the purpose of producing child pornography. This really makes us worry. Maybe the attorney is really able to undo the conviction and free Kelly after all. If it makes you worry, rest assured that there is someone out there who's absolutely terrified of this news. And that someone is Jay-Z. You might be wondering, what has Jay-Z got to do with this? Turns out the two singers have more tangled paths than we initially thought. The only thing on R. Kelly's mind is revenge. And with the new appeal, it looks like he might be able to get his revenge after all. If Kelly decides to go that route, Jay-Z is going to suffer the wrath. Jay-Z's whole career is on the line. Not just that, his reputation and his sweet family life is all crumbling at the very moment. If Kelly decides to go all out, Jay-Z may even end up in jail. Jay-Z's fear and worry makes sense when you realize surviving R. Kelly might have been funded by Jay-Z. To understand why Kelly is so fixated on ruining Jay-Z's life and why Jay-Z is so scared of him, you'll have to go all the way back to the beginning of their relationship.
Jay-Z first worked with R. Kelly in 1996 on the Changing Faces track All My Days.
Jay-Z and R. Kelly were both the top singers in the industry, so it just made sense for them to collaborate on tracks. But people loved the duo a lot more than they originally thought, and so the occasional tracks turned into a full album and a world tour. The best of both worlds was going to be the album of the year, or even the decade. But with Kelly, what can you expect but a mess? In 2002, a video showed up that shook the whole industry. A 27-minute video of R. Kelly having sex with a minor. Kelly immediately came out with a sob story about how people were making up fake stories to destroy him. He straight up refused to admit it and said, It's very difficult for me, but you know, I'm innocent. It's crap, and that's how we're going to treat it. All I know is this. I have a few people in the past that I've fired, people that I thought were my friends, and that's not my friends. Ever since then, it's been threats on what they're going to do to me if I don't pay them this. They'll put a story out, and when I refuse to pay them, and now here comes this story. Some people from the industry were convinced that Jay-Z knew all about Kelly's disgusting actions, and he let them get away with it. Rapper Nas believes it was impossible for Jay-Z to know. You can't tell me Jay didn't see a 14-year-old girl come into the studio and sit on R. Kelly's lap. You gonna tell me he didn't see no 14-year-old girl come into the vicinity? Jay-Z, however, is a smart man, and he knows if there's one thing you never do is to jump into another man's mess. He refused to speak on the incident or pass any judgments of his own.
Got love for the dude, I mean, if he's guilty, I just hope and pray that he get help. If he's not, I wish everybody, everybody embrace him.
Clearly, Kelly saw that person he assumed to be his well-wisher and friend would rather stay clear of any controversy than to speak in his favor. Still, the two keep their personal feelings aside and start working on the Best of Both Worlds tour. But I guess the tour wasn't really the best of both worlds